Happy Valentine's Day.
No
Love of my life.
one, no one I'd rather be spending Valentine's Day with than you, Catherine.
Except for maybe your boyfriend.
Hmm,
Maybe.
maybe,
Potentially.
potentially,
A close second.
if he's on his best behavior, then maybe.
A close second to me.
When he has put in as much work and effort and time as you have, then maybe.
So true. So true.
Hard to compare with your girlfriend's loves, you know?
It's so true. The day of love.
The day of love.
And it's fitting that we would be here today together, chatting about the other love of our life, Formula One.
Formula One.
So, to everyone listening, whether you're a new listener or an old listener joining in for the first time or the 108th
Six.
time, something like that, we love you all the
We love
same.
you
And
so
you're
much.
Valentine's. I know this is coming out a day after Valentine's Day, but regardless, you're still our Valentine's Day a day after. This is T2NF, an F1 podcast with Kate and Nicole. My name's Kate,
And I'm Nicole.
and this is our show where we talk about Formula One and also literally any and everything else that we decide we want to. So,
Because why not?
because why not? We're allowed to do that. So let's get into it. There's been a lot happening. Last week was a really fun episode where we just kind of like caught up, checked in on things happening in F1 and like did more of like a predictions episode. Like
Hmm.
we picked out of names out of a hat. We got our teams, our drivers that will be our teams for this year, which is going to be a lot of fun. And I think that we'll have like a lot of different games and podcast things that will kind of go into those drivers that we choose. And
Yep.
so like having a team to kind of stick with for the year is going to be really fun. But outside of that, it was more just like predictions and thinking about this season ahead and what we think is going to happen. But this week we're going to talk a little bit more about what is happening.
Let's get into
Last
it.
week was guessing. This week we know.
We
We
know.
know things. So the first thing that's happening is a lot of cars have launched.
Hmm.
The
Who are we missing?
cars that
Are we missing anyone at this point?
Mercedes launched this
No.
morning.
Yep.
So
Did we see Haas?
let me check. So the only one left is McLaren will be launching today. So maybe while we're recording this, we'll see it.
Which I
And
already
then
saw it. It's already out.
oh, is it out?
Yeah. But what happened when they launched it? They dropped the launch 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Remember, it was just like surprise. Actually, like here's our car.
Oh yeah. So I
And so
guess we've
maybe they're
already
doing like an official event today, but like we've already
maybe.
seen it
The only one left is Red Bull tomorrow. But like
tomorrow.
technically I think we've seen it because they've been doing some like show runs
Yeah,
at Silverstone, but we know how that goes. It could change.
it could change.
Nothing is set in stone until it's set in stone. So
Like it's not over until they lift that curtain on that bad boy, as we've
honestly,
learned.
it's not over until race one. That's
And
when it's
even
not over until.
but even then, because sometimes they have special livery, so it's like not really over until it's the last race of the season, I guess.
It's never over, is what we're
I
saying.
guess it's never really over just because it's over.
Just because they launch a car doesn't mean that's a car.
Exactly. Katy Perry, get in here. F1 remix.
Dead. Sorry, I like really need to figure out like where I want to be because the light from this window is really cramping my style.
I'm sorry.
It's like on half my face, but not the rest. My ring lights all over the place. Struggling today. This is why I need my own podcast studio, obviously.
Soon.
Soon.
All right. Well,
Hopefully.
we've got VCarb. Let's chat VCarb because VCarb launched last week.
It did.
And I think it's one of the better looking cars on the grid this season.
I agree. Although my big, bone to pick with F1 teams is I don't really think anyone's giving us anything new or exciting. And
No.
that's something that I'm always wanting from them is why do these cars just look the same? And even VCarb is a whole new team, basically. And it's still a Toro Rosso.
Like, here's the thing for me is that cars are considered art, right?
Exactly.
In certain circles of the world, maybe you don't necessarily think so to the listener, but like there people collect cars, they are collectibles, they are
Yeah,
art, right? So why are we not treating these Formula 1 cars
as
as
such.
literal works of art? Like they should be adorned as beautiful things to watch every single race. And like
100%.
I get that that is a corporate sport and I get that sponsorships matter, but like at the end of the day, you can't even see the sponsors on the car
As they're
when
racing.
it's going around the track anyway. So
Right.
like, please, let's have some fun with
It's
it.
just like a little bit of color, a little bit of. So here's the thing, and this is my thought on V Carb because I think they have really fun colors. But
Mhm.
like we said, it looks like a Toro Rosso from a couple years ago. And I think what they could have done is basically it's like, what does the car look like right now? It's like the blue and it has like white. Is
Mhm.
that what it is?
Yeah.
Like, I would have loved to see a full white car
Mhm.
with like blue stripes. Like, I don't know. I feel like that would have been like a fresh, fun, new thing. Like, we only, like, also every car this year is black,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I know, even like
So,
Aston Martins last year, like I loved the green. I loved the
loved
full
it.
green. And this year they're like black with some green. And I'm like, boo, lame tomatoes.
I know. Luckily, Mercedes is silver. So I'm glad they
With
like did the silver. I know
they
with
did
black,
both.
but they did mostly silver. So loving that. Um, the one that I love that did a great job,
Hmm.
Steak.
Okay.
The
I thought you were gonna
Shigo.
say Ferrari, and I was like,
No,
of course.
no. Steak's Shigo Mobile looks so good. I love it. I love that they did the green. I feel like it's just something we haven't seen before and like that's all I want. I just want like something fresh and new that we can like have fun with. No, Ferrari is surprise surprise is red again.
I mean, I, I don't think that Ferrari's ever not going to be red. Like, I don't
I know.
envision that for them, and that's fine. But I think that they could be a little more fun, maybe with the race suits, or
Yeah.
with it's just like go girl, give us nothing. And
Yeah.
so it's fine. I don't expect a lot from Ferrari.
You know what I would
This
actually like from
history
them?
storied kind of team, but
I would love their race suits to actually be black.
hmm.
I know we're like, black cars, but everyone looks good in a black racing suit.
I would also love them to be in the Ferrari yellow, like full Ferrari yellow with like the red accents. Cause I think it would just
See,
be such a nice contrast between like the red car and like their yellow suits, like when they're in there.
okay, they're literally gonna look like a hot dog, Nicole.
Okay, you know that we love to
Ketchup
talk
and
about,
mustard.
we love a ketchup mustard Wienermobile. Like we
I
love that.
know. Okay, but I also really don't think the yellow is totally in Charles' color wheel, and so I don't
I will not
necessarily
wear that
think
gaudy yellow. It is not in my color wheel.
like I'm just thinking that I don't think that that is um the move for
That's
him.
fine. I just like I'm kind of tired
I would like a
of the
black with
same
like
red.
red accents, like the black with the red and yellow accents. I feel like would be really cool because we've seen them do white before, and like those
Yeah.
are fine, but they're kind of boring.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just want more from these teams, and like I'm excited about the like progress that they're making, like technically with the cars, because we know that like Williams and I think Mercedes are both like these are brand new fucking cars. Like
Mhm.
nothing is the same from last year. So like they completely rebuilt the car, which will be really exciting to watch on track and see how
Yeah.
they perform. But like cool, they're totally new except they look the same. So like give us something new. If they're going to be new cars, make them look new.
The problem is that someone's gonna listen to this and be like, "You guys are stupid. They don't look anything
I
like the
know.
old cars. They look so different. You don't even know." And it's like,
You don't even know.
okay, whatever.
Generally, they're the same. I'm sorry, maybe Ferrari has like an extra yellow stripe. I think they did like a new thing with the stripes this
Yeah.
year. So like cool.
No, I
not
have
what
to
I'm looking for.
agree. I think steak is really crushing it. And you know what?
Tell me.
I've been noticing too, like this doesn't have to do with the car launch, but like they elevated their content strategy to 1,000.
Oh yeah,
They kicked it
absolutely.
up. I think Steak is going to be giving us the best driver content
Yeah,
of
100%.
this year.
I think so too. Their new branding is really fun. It's so Gen Z. It is
Yeah.
so like painfully Gen Z, but I think it's gonna be really fun. Um, they just
I mean, it
they seem like a
makes
team that
sense.
is like that has really invested in like their creative department, like their
Yeah.
social media, content creation, um, graphic design, like design departments. Like they're really investing in like the branding of Steak, and I think that that's really smart of them.
And I'll tell you this, Stake, for anyone who doesn't know, is sports betting. It is a sports
Yeah,
book. It is a betting platform. And it is, right, like I said, F1 very corporate, right? Makes sense that sometimes it's kind of boring. But Stake has always been a more fun company. And
yeah,
so that, and with their branding and kind of the media that they put out, right? Like Drake is, maybe their top influencer, or he owns a stake in Stake. And right, like he posted
doesn't
can't
bode well for them, to be honest.
doesn't, but obviously for the Super Bowl, he was like, can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, $1 million on the Chiefs. And people were like, oh, must be nice to just have $1 million to throw around. And I was like, bro, like that is sponsorship money. Like Drake is not putting any of his own money into that.
No,
So like
none.
they have so much money to throw around in a very fun and kind of younger leaning way. So
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see what they
100%.
do with this type of sponsorship that is so drastically different
Yeah,
than these car companies and kind of like big tech companies that are focused on like
100%.
fucking Salesforce, right? Like the branding and the way that they meet their audience is very different. So I'm so excited to see
Yeah,
a company like this
yep,
enter the Formula One space and be able to kind of transform how maybe everyone else looks at their sponsorship roster.
100%. Yeah, I think I'm excited. I think they're going to be really fun, and I'm already enjoying what they're doing. So,
Same.
and season hasn't even started yet. So
I
that's great
mean,
news.
I don't know if you saw, kind of going back to Drake, Bottas posted a photo the other day of him like working out or something, and then there was like the shadow that looked like he had like a huge dick. Did you see it? Okay. Well, I was like, is this a play on recently leaked
Oh my god.
Drake nudes? And we're just kind of like playing up the Drake sponsorship, because that it would be hysterical, and I really appreciate the ability.
Oh my god.
Do you just look at it?
Yeah. Oh, it's obvious. I was like, what is this from? Obviously, it's the handle of the jump rope, but like
Yeah. But like the shadow makes it look like he's has a huge boner.
okay, hysterical. Someone commented and said, "Is this the picture Christian Horner sent?"
Oh my god.
Damn.
So, and for anyone who
Pierre's not the
isn't,
only one with
the
the
tripod.
tripod nickname now. That is so
Yeah, for
funny.
anyone who doesn't know, Drake essentially leaked his own nudes recently. It was a video of him. You can go search it out. We shan't be posting it anywhere, but
Mm-mm.
like if you want to see it, you can see it. And it was kind of like a big thing last week.
Yeah.
But
It is it was definitely a big thing last week.
it was
It was a big thing
it
last
was a
week.
big thing.
It was a pretty big thing.
It was a big thing that was kind of
Relatively large.
circulating around. It was kind of, moving here and there across
It was
the
definitely
screens.
a large topic of conversation in several group chats, that's for sure.
Anyway, enough about Drake's nudes. Let's get into some silly season updates.
So we talked last week about the fact that like in the shock of the century to a lot of people, Lewis Hamilton announced that he will be leaving Mercedes at the end of this season and joining Ferrari for the 2025 season. And so now there's all sorts of speculation around who is going to be replacing him. Obviously, we know it's going to be Pierre because the Wheels of Fortune on our last week's episode foretold it.
Honestly, that
So,
would be so that would be kind of insane if any single one of those was actually right.
no, I mean, we'd have to just like, I don't know what
We'd
we'd have
have
to
to
do.
start playing the lottery, I think.
I mean, I'm not allowed, but
Oh, okay, well, I'll start playing the lottery for both of us.
I mean, we would have to do something with that. Like, that would be insane. But there's a lot of conversations. Mick Schumacher has kind of said, or like not said, or his uncle has said, someone has kind of said that like Mick is
In the running.
in
He's
talks
he's in
for
talks.
the
He's in
seat.
play.
He's in play. Obviously, we know that Toto is Esteban's manager.
Hmm.
So, could we see Ocon getting the seat? I kind of don't know because the last time there was an opportunity for Esteban to have the Mercedes seat, it went to George.
Yeah.
But also, Toto also is very invested in George's career.
Yeah.
So, is it now like it's Esteban's time? Who knows? And then Toto literally owns every single piece of the Mercedes pie,
Yeah.
which would be pretty crazy. But there's been a lot. I feel like everyone is kind of everyone's trying to start the rumor that they have this seat. Like everyone is starting
Everyone.
their own rumor.
And you know what? Alonso is hitting the rumor mill pretty heavily because he's coming
Yeah.
out. He has a lot to say about this open Mercedes
I
seat.
mean, Fernando
And
always has a lot to say.
Fernando,
I'm
he's
surprised Fernando hasn't made a comment about Drake.
you know
I
what?
kind of
I'll
thought he
go.
would be the one to make a joke.
You know what? I was scrolling through his TikTok yesterday, and I was like, "This man's unhinged." So it might be coming. Just give it a minute. Um, but Alonso has been quoted saying he'll settle for a short term deal to
Oh,
replace Lewis. Don't worry, he'll settle for 1 or 2 year deal. That's it. Don't
got
worry.
it. Okay.
And yeah,
So generous of him.
he's making concessions for Mercedes to bring him on. And he says there's only 3 world champions on the current grid, and I'm the only one available for 2025.
I
So I'm in
mean,
a good position. So
logic stands.
he's like, I'm setting myself up for success here.
According to logic, he's getting the seat.
He's getting the seat. Alonso, you know what? Alonso is a confident king and he never doubts himself. He
Never.
never once says, well, maybe it shouldn't be for me. He doesn't chase, he attracts. Okay. Like
That's 100%.
he says, you want me? I'll maybe make some room in my schedule
Maybe
for
I'll
you.
pencil you in. He's penciling Mercedes in for 2025.
He said,
In pencil
reach
only.
out to my people if you'd like to talk, but like, don't reach out to me directly. So Alonso feels like he's pretty confident in his ability to get that Mercedes seat. So
But
let's see how
he
that pans out.
is making a good point that who's the only person you can replace a world
A world
champion with?
champion with.
Another world champion. He makes a good point that he's the only world champion on the grid that's available. However, there are other world champions that are potentially available,
Potentially.
namely Sebastian Vettel. And we've seen or heard from former Formula One team owner Eddie Jordan, who has come out and said that he encouraged Toto to consider Seb to fill the
Mm-hmm.
gap. He said, if it was me and the way that Formula One is progressing, I would look at Vettel. I think it's a good choice. Obviously. Like, it's just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, I love when people say things like this because I'm like, oh, breaking news. You would look at Sebastian Vettel and you think he'd be a good choice for a team. Like, obviously.
He's like, hey, maybe you should consider that really good guy. Hmm.
Maybe. He said, I think it makes sense for Mercedes to have a German driver in the car. True. So I think Vettel has to be in the frame because of the major German contact. We know what happened with Michael before. Um,
Schumacher.
yeah, Michael Schumacher kind of talking about his return to the grid with Mercedes in 2010. He left Ferrari. Where did he go? Back to Mercedes. So that's a possibility. Honestly, you know what? You know what he probably subscribes to? my Lewis in his Niki Lauda era theory.
Exactly.
He's like, let's think about the poetry here. Um,
Mhm.
so I mean, I don't know.
History is
I
always
think
repeating itself.
history is always repeating
Or
itself.
what do they say in ABBA? The history book on the shelf is always repeating itself.
I
Exactly.
mean, also
Exactly.
poetic. Um, but we've also heard a lot of rumors about Seb. I don't necessarily think that Seb would come back to be a driver again. I think
Yeah.
he is someone that left for personal reasons of wanting to be with his family more. And like, I think he was just like, my driver era
Mhm.
is over.
Yeah.
Shout out the driver era. Great band. But his driver era is over. But we have heard some rumors that people are kind of thinking about him, about tip tapping him in to head up Red Bull
Mhm.
if it so happens that Christian Horner finds himself out of a job. And they're
Mhm.
kind of thinking about bringing Seb back. Obviously, Seb was like, prior to Max, like the most winning Red Bull driver
He still
that they've ever
is.
had. Is he still?
Yep, he
Um,
won 4
that's
for
true.
Red Bull.
So he
So if
has the
Max wins
most.
again this year, then
They're
he'll be
tied.
tied. Yeah.
Yeah, but he has the most world champions that Red Bull
Mhm.
has ever had. And so people are like, okay, well, if Christian isn't in, then maybe they'll bring Seb in. There's been rumors that he might be replacing Helmut Marko whenever
Yep.
Helmut decides to grace us with his non-presence in the Formula One world. So that's a potential. I don't think we've seen the last of Seb in F1. However, I do personally think we've seen the last of him on track as a driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I also think that as a team principal, obviously you're super busy, but I think it allows you more time to be with your family.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to be at the track at all times driving. Like he
Yeah.
can kind of do things from afar. We've seen team principals kind of lead from afar
Yeah.
before. So I think
And
something like that will happen.
yeah. And I mean, speaking of Red Bull, I think it's not funny, but it's definitely something that absolutely no one thinks that Checo is going to have the seat after the season.
Nobody. There's not a single
He's
rumor
not even
about
in
him keeping his seat.
contention for him to be at the Red Bull
Everyone
team
else on
after the
the
season.
grid is rumored to have that seat
Yeah,
except for
people are
him.
vying for that seat. They're like, Checo is not even competition at this point.
They're
So,
like,
like,
honestly, probably Nico Hulkenberg is getting the seat. Like, they're like, "Ugh, I guess they'd settle for Nico. Anyone but Checo. They're on
like,
their ABC journey. Anyone but Checo. Red Bull is learning their ABCs this season, and we'll
yes.
see who gets to take that spot because it is not going to be Sergio Perez. That's for damn sure. There's rumors that Alex Albon has been already offered the seat, so kind of given first right of refusal. He basically, for anyone that's younger, Albon basically applied early decision, or they're applying early decision to Albon taking the seat, and so he kind of has the offer to take the seat, and he gets to refuse it, and then if he does, then it would go to someone else. So
Yeah.
allegedly, that's been happening. We've seen a lot of rumors about that, so that would be interesting. Can't say whether or not I'm necessarily excited. Like I have a lot of mixed emotions about that.
We have
But
talked several times about going back to your abuser.
yeah, and we
And
don't
but
like
you
it.
and we don't like it for them. From personal experience, don't love it for them.
I don't like it for anyone. I don't love it for you, mostly, but also for F1 drivers. Don't love it.
So, Alex, really think about what you're choosing here. And you know what? Like,
However, maybe he's
if
waiting to see if Christian's going to be there or not. Because if
true,
Christian's not there, could be a whole new
true,
chapter for
true,
Red
true,
Bull.
true. So let's see how things play out. But Alex is has shown so much growth at Williams that I think they cut him from Red Bull far too early.
Yeah,
And I think
100%.
without giving him the benefit of the doubt, I think a lot of things happened to him on track. Like we saw Lewis crash into him several times, ruined the
Hmm.
races for him. And I think they really blamed him for that. And so you put him back in a Red Bull card that's similar to Max. Like, let's see what he can do. Like,
Yeah,
maybe it is time for him to, be one of the top drivers on the grid. I would love that for him,
I would love
but
that
I
for
just
him.
don't want him to be treated poorly at Red Bull.
I agree.
So,
Um, we'll see. Speaking of Christian, there is an update on the saga of whether or not Christian will be at Red Bull anymore. If you haven't heard about it, um, there was a report that came out early last week that Christian Horner is under private investigation by Red Bull about some allegations towards him from a Red Bull employee. We're not totally sure what those allegations are. There's conflicting reports. It's either that he was inappropriate with a female colleague and sent some photos, or that he has like an aggressive management style, and it might be something towards like bullying,
like,
harassment, kind of
yeah.
like something like that. So we can neither confirm nor deny what the allegations are. So we're not going to be, talking too much about that. But we do know that there's an investigation going on. That much has been confirmed by Red Bull. And the latest update is that he met with an external barrister at a secret location in central London on Friday, to have like a hearing about it. At first, they wanted to have the decision made or have the results of the investigation done before the car launch, which is tomorrow.
Hmm.
But we've heard that it might take a lot longer and could even be still going on past the first race of the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Christian's not going down without a fight.
Yeah.
They're going to have to drag him kicking and screaming out of that Red Bull building.
Yeah.
So, TBD on what happens, but
There were also rumors that Bernie Ecclestone
told him to step
pushed
down.
told him to step down,
Yeah.
but Bernie did post on his Instagram account. He posted a notes app apology style story that was like, any reports of me telling Christian to step down are false and incorrect. Don't listen to the media.
The dang
Mm.
media. They're
So I
always
was
stirring
like,
the pot.
I had that update on the agenda. I went backspace, backspace, backspace. Okay, no longer true. But I
Hysterical.
love that Christian Horner, fun fact, Christian Horner was Bernie's best man at his third wedding.
Screaming. His third
So
wedding. Third time's the charm.
they've got some deep relationships there. So
Yeah, they do.
who's to say what actually happened behind closed doors between the two of them?
I, I would love to know. To be in the room where it happened.
Fly on the wall.
We've also got some updates to the format of race weekends, specifically when sprint races are happening. So, as we know, sprint weekends have been in the fray for the past 2 to 3 seasons now. Just something that F1 kind of brought in to liven up the weekends a little more, give fans something more to see, especially if you're at the track. Just a little extra something, something to spice it up. And it's kind of polarizing. Some people love them, some people hate them. Some
We
people are
go back and
neutral.
forth
We go
sometimes.
back and
Depends on
forth.
the weekend.
I think, like, in theory, I really like them. Like, in
Hmm.
practice, like, I enjoy watching a sprint race. I don't necessarily love how they
I
design
don't.
them in terms of like points and
Yeah,
like
the
all of
larger
that.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they updated the sprint weekend format again, um, as is expected. I feel like they're doing that pretty much every year till they figure out something that really works that everyone's happy with. And so it's nothing huge, but now the sprint qualifying will be held on Friday, and then the sprint race will happen Saturday. So it's kind of breaking them up a little bit.
but essentially we're going back because it used to be last
Yeah.
year. It was like qualifying for the race would happen on Friday,
Yeah.
and then it would be Saturday sprint race, qualifier, sprint race, and then Sunday would be the race, right?
I
And
think so, yeah.
now they're going back to, okay, it's going to be qualifying is again on Saturday,
Yeah.
followed by the sprint race.
Yeah, because before they wanted qualifying to go before the sprint just in case anything happened to the
Happen.
cars,
Right.
so that you could get qualifying kind of out of the way. But now I guess that they didn't care, so it's going back. And they said not worth it.
So yeah, it's just again, it's one of those things where it's like, but what's the point of the sprint race if it's not to have anything to do with the actual weekend?
Right.
Because they're still kind of then putting themselves in harm's way for
Right.
I get that it's points towards the constructors championship, but I feel like people are more likely to like play it safe because it's like a few points versus
Mhm.
the points that you'd get in the race on Sunday.
Right.
But hey, I'm not the expert on this. I'm just a girl with a podcast.
We're just a couple girls,
We talk into microphones and people listen to us.
and that's that. So we next week we have 1 week left until the premiere of season 6 of Drive to Survive. Super excited. I think we had a relatively uneventful season last year. So excited to see kind of. I also think that sometimes it's the more boring seasons that we get more story. Like
Yeah.
we get to go deeper into different drivers and hear kind of what's going on behind the scenes. So excited to see what storylines they really pull from last year. Um, but one noticeable absence from the trailer is there was no Max. And we know that Max has previously refused to be in Drive to Survive. And then last year he was in it. And then this year it looks like he might not be. So unsure kind of what's going on there. And you might, be sitting there thinking to yourself, like, okay, well, not every driver was shown in the trailer.
Yeah.
Max is the champion. And
Max won
yeah.
21 out
So,
of 23 races last year. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, you can't just not include his
Yeah.
storyline without him explicitly saying that he doesn't want to be included.
Right. So TBD, we'll see kind of what happens with it. I think he gave them kind of like a 1 year trial. He's like, I'll be
Yeah.
in this season.
But
I'll
I
see
don't
how it goes, and then I'll decide if I want to do it. And who knows? He might have honestly, it might not have been anything to do with Drive to Survive. It might have just been like he didn't really want that anymore, and he was like, I don't really feel like doing this. For last season, like it might have just been a lot the season before. TBD, because we also may see more from him in a way where maybe he gets to control the narrative
Yeah,
a
I
little bit
mean,
more.
so I don't know, obviously big GQ fan, but Killian Murphy was the cover star this past month. And there's a quote from him where he recently was like, I don't want to do press junkets. I don't want to do interviews. He's like, acting is like sex. Just do it. Don't talk about it. That's how I feel like Max
Yes,
is
100%.
towards racing. And he's like, I don't want to do this like horse and dog and pony show where they like trot me around to be this kind of
Hmm.
like uh I have to do the press after the races. Like that's all I want to do. I don't want to have to do
Yeah,
any of this extra stuff.
right.
So I think he's just like grown tired of
Yeah.
having to be in this spotlight, especially where he doesn't get to control the narrative, like you said. But he is getting his own miniseries.
Which he did last year too, I think.
Yes. And they saw the success of that. And so now this is actually produced by the Verstappen.com team, like his actual team. They put it together. So
Okay.
the documentary is going to be called Off the Beaten Track, and it's going to feature 3 30-minute episodes highlighting Max's life away from F1. So love this. Let's see a little bit. Let's peek behind the curtain of Max Verstappen because you and I talk about all the time. We talked about this last week about Max being hot, but I think what especially makes him hot is being able to see him outside of his driver
Yeah.
persona.
Hmm.
Um, and see him engage with his fans, engage with his family and friends, and like that's
Yeah.
really what kind of brings him to life for us. So I'm really excited about this.
Yeah,
And
100%.
so they are partnering with the streaming service called Viaplay, and I looked into it. You can subscribe if you are in the US via Xfinity or Roku. Um,
Perfect.
I looked into it because I was like, how the hell am I going to watch this? But the Max says that the series shows a side that often remains unseen during the moments on the F1 circuit. And Off the Beaten Track gives a glimpse of his life and his love for different forms of motorsport and the people who inspire him. He's really proud to bring this unique series to his viewers and his fans. So say less, Max. Like I'm sat. I'm tuned in and I'm
I'm
ready to
ready to
watch.
see Max the way that Max wants to be seen. And I feel
Yes.
like this is going to be a whole different view of him. and because he gets to like have control over it, he'll probably be more open to sharing things that he
Yeah,
wouldn't before. So I am excited. I can't wait to see kind of what he deems important enough to share.
I agree
I'm excited.
wholeheartedly. All right, let's get into some of our driver updates.
Yeah. So the first thing we got going on is New York Fashion Week happened, and there was an explosion of F1 and F1 adjacent people at New York Fashion Week this year. Mick Schumacher and his girlfriend Layla were there, and I would just like to say that we owe Layla a debt of gratitude. Like, we
Shake
owe
her
her
hand.
a lot because she has made Mick Schumacher into one of the most handsome, well dressed, romance
Motherfuckers.
novel worthy men of all time. Like,
He is the leading man. Like he's her. He is her.
yeah,
And
it's unbelievable.
not that Mick was not hot before, but like he
She really
he
like
has
took,
benefited from the girlfriend effect
yeah.
so hard.
And it's funny because he'll make those jokes too. Like, he's like, "Oh, the girlfriend effect? Yeah, I've got that." Like, it's like he makes all these videos about it, and I just feel like she really took like Scandinavian style and said, "Mick, this is for you." And
Yeah.
guess what it is? Like, he's been so well dressed and just like looks like a 90s teen heartthrob. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like he looks so good all the time. And I'm like, Layla, you really did that. You did that, girl.
I'm
And
I,
I owe you a lot.
I'm obsessed, and I think part of it too is that she's really just brought a lot of confidence to him.
Yeah.
Right? I think we're seeing him be more, personal on social
Yeah.
media and kind of doing things with her, and she's kind of shown him that it's okay to be seen, right? I think
Yeah.
with a situation with his family and his dad, like they've always been like really private,
Yeah.
and I think now he's kind of stepping into his own personality and his own way of
Totally.
being perceived on the internet. And so I'm really excited for this version
No,
of
he
him.
yeah. It's really good. I'm excited about it. We also had like resident F1 adjacent hot boy Pato Award was at New York Fashion Week wearing a bevy of delicious outfits.
Oh,
The like silk snakeskin shirt or whatever it was that he wore, unbelievable.
he is just so
Looks
cheeky,
so
and
good.
like I'm obsessed with him, and like the fact that he knows he's hot and he's
Yeah.
not afraid to like be hot,
He
right?
knows he's hot and
Like
he knows people think that he's hot
yeah,
and he is just like, "Sure. I'm
sure.
going to give you what you
I'll
want to see."
I'll give the people what they want. Like
Yeah.
I'll give the girls and the gays exactly what they want to see.
Exactly what
And
they
we
want to
say
see.
thank you.
Thank you. We also saw Carmen at New York Fashion Week. She went to Tommy Hilfiger and I think a couple other shows, but like as always, looked incredible.
Stunning.
Um, had a little cute brother sister weekend. Her brother was with her. It just looked really cute and wholesome, and I was like really happy for them. I mean, and other so like Carmen at New York Fashion Week going to Tommy Hilfiger, not surprising. Other things not surprising. Valtteri Bottas getting another new business.
New Botaz venture just dropped. And you know what? I don't know how long he's actually been invested in this, but this is the first I'm hearing about it. That he is now a part owner in a Finnish hockey team. So he has purchased a 10% stake in the club and joined the team as a co-owner. So he said, I can't let you guys fail. I'm gonna invest some money in this team, and get you to where you need to be. So I think, he in a recent interview, people talked to him about kind of what are next steps for him, and we've, you know, talked about on Instagram about how is he also a potential for the Mercedes seat because he was at Broccoli a couple weeks ago, when the news dropped. And so he was like, don't worry about me when I leave Formula One because, like, I have my
I'll be
portfolio.
okay.
I got my portfolio set. He's like, I
He's
got my
like,
wine, I got my
F1 is
coffee.
training wheels at this point. He's like,
Yeah,
I'm just doing this for the paycheck until I don't have to do it anymore and I can go do what I actually want to do.
exactly. So I love that for him. And I think that it's so he's such a good kind of reference point for the younger drivers. Like
Yeah.
when we were at the Williams event, we were talking to James and Logan about kind of what their personal brand looks like
Yep.
moving into the next couple of years. And I think Valtteri is like such a good kind of reference point for that, where it's like it doesn't even necessarily have to be related to like clothing or Formula
Yeah.
One. It can be like whatever the fuck you're interested in. And like I love that.
Yeah. Exactly. Ah, I love him. I love his brain. I love his vibe.
He's the best.
He is.
Another thing that I'm like so in love with right now is Lando's new helmet design. I loved his cheeky little photo shoot for his new helmet for the year.
Yeah.
And the fact that his younger sister, Flo, her equestrian helmet is similarly designed off of Lando's helmet. And I think that that is like so, so,
That is
so
so
fucking
cute.
cute. I was just like, I'm obsessed with that. And like, I love that it's like a little nod. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And it's not the same color. It's just kind of like the same squiggly design. And
So
so
cute.
I was just like, that is like so sweet.
Ugh, I love siblings. So cute. Um, Lance Stroll. Let's talk about Lance. Once again, we're hoping for a redemption year for Lance. We're hoping this is the year of Lance and that we just end up really loving him. Um, he is no longer allowed to ride bikes.
Not obviously, but if you remember last year, he suffered a Peloton accident where he broke his wrist. He thankfully recovered very quickly. That's why he sent Danny to his wrist surgeon when Danny broke
Yep.
his wrist in the fall. But it turns out Lance recently gave an interview and he was like, I am no longer allowed to ride bikes. I'm only allowed to run. And he's like, and that's actually a self-imposed thing. He's like, and I'm even still kind of worried about that, about like twisting my ankle or, tripping and
He
falling.
said, I
Um,
have trauma. All right. I have trauma.
and he even joked, he goes, oh yeah, my apartment's actually stacked with pillows and I'm not allowed to leave. So he's like, I'm just trying to make it to Bahrain. Like my preseason workout is like surviving at this point. So if you see me not looking that fit
It's just, be
at
lucky I'm there.
practice, be lucky I'm there. Be
Be glad
thankful
I'm
I've
there.
showed up. So, I think this was also a fun, cheeky moment for Lance to kind of showcase his personality as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping to see more moments of Lance being fun and silly with the press this
We
year.
love it. A fun and silly Lance.
Yeah,
We do. All right. Before we get to the girls' room, I want to play a fun little game.
let's do it.
Okay. So, because it's Valentine's Day, we're going to play a really fun, cute little game called Plan a Date for an F1 Driver. And Nicole and I are going to take each of the drivers on our teams for this year. And we are going to basically plan a date for each of them. If we were to take each of these drivers out for Valentine's Day, what would we plan for them? So
It's giving Win
let's
a Date with Tad Hamilton. Remember that show or that movie?
no.
Oh my god, it was who was the guy from who was Eric in that 70s show?
Topher Grace.
Yes, he was like a an actor, and there was a contest where like you could win a date with him, and it was like a really cute little rom com.
Love that.
It was funny.
Okay, you go first. Your first driver is Nico Hulkenberg.
If I had to plan a date with Nico Hulkenberg, I don't know too much about Nico.
I know. There's a
I
couple that I'm
feel
like,
like
I don't really know what to do.
I feel like he gives me big, like outdoorsy kind of vibes, like beach vibes. Like I feel like I'm always seeing him like he's thriving in warm
Yeah.
weather a lot of the time. I would love to take
Yeah.
him to like indoor surf lessons. Like we go to an indoor surf location and we do lessons, like learn how to surf.
Minus next is Carlos. And so I have two options. And I would probably let him choose.
Okay.
Either A, we have a chef come to the house and actually I've decided. I know exactly
Okay.
what it is.
Make the executive decision.
I'm
Okay.
combining my two ideas. So what I would do is I would have like a private chef come to the house and do like a private cooking class
Okay.
for us. And so it'd be something that he loves to eat, but maybe doesn't know how to cook. Like, obviously, we know he loves burgers, but he obviously knows how to cook a burger. So, kind of picking a cuisine that he loves, but he doesn't know how to cook. And so, we would learn together how to cook that meal and we do it. And then we would have like a little table set up, and then like the chef would leave and we would be able to eat our meal together that we had
Cute.
made.
Cute.
Well, like maybe like an outdoor little patio situation. We'd
Yeah.
listen to some jazz because we know that
Hmm.
he loves jazz
He's
now.
big into jazz now. Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course. All right, for me is Max next. And I know that Max loves a good sim race. Like he loves to play video games,
Yeah.
he loves to be online. And so I would love to go to an arcade with like a bunch of different racing games, like the
So
motorcycle or
fun.
like the jet skis, whatever. And we just do a competition of like racing games because those like kind of require skill, but like I feel like if you
But
we
not
do like
totally.
but like not totally. Like if we were to
Yeah.
do like a boat racing one or like something different, like I feel
Yeah.
like it's different skill sets and I feel like
So
maybe
fun.
maybe I could win one or two.
Love that. Love that. That sounds so fun. He would love that.
He would
I
love
know
it.
that to be true. I know that he would love that. My next is George. And I feel like George is someone that like see and be seen, like
Mhm.
he's gonna want to do like go like have a reservation at like the sceniest new restaurant in like London
Mhm.
and maybe go to like a West End play. Like
Okay.
I feel like something a little posh. So like kind of like dinner and a movie, but instead of a movie, we're going to the theater.
The theater. Okay.
And we're gonna see like a fun new show that's playing.
Okay. Fantastic. Love that. All right, next up for me is Fernando. And trying to think what I'd want to do with Fernando. I feel like he's really in his kind of like Gen Z shit posting era. And so I'd
Totally is.
I think I'd love to go to like a comedy show with him. Like I feel like
Mm,
just do something fun and silly.
that's a good one.
And maybe it's like maybe even we take like an improv class together. Like we do something together that's like allows us to be kind of in our silly goofy era.
I love that. I would die to see Fernando do improv. I would literally pay so much money. I'm so sorry about this. My next one
La
is
la la la
Danny.
la.
So if I was to take Danny out for a Valentine's Day date, I feel like I would want to do like a live music night and just
Mhm.
kind of like find a bunch of bars that are like restaurants that had live music and just like hit a bunch of them and like
Yeah.
see a bunch of live music together
That's yeah. I mean,
is
I'd
something
choose
I
the
feel,
same thing.
yeah, I think that he would love that. That one's
Okay,
easy.
next up for me is Lance. And just like we talked about, Lance is not allowed to do anything physical. So I would book a couples massage and like
Yep.
couples facials for me and Lance.
Love that. Love that. Ugh. Next is my dream. It's Charles. And I already like this is how I came up with this game was because I was thinking about
She
it.
was
I was
already
like,
thinking about it.
oh, if I was going on a Valentine's Day date with Charles Tonight, what would I do? And then I was like, we should play this game. Um, so I would want to bring him or like have us go to one of those like candlelight concerts. Have you seen
Mm.
those? It's
Hmm.
like you can pick any of them. So there's like piano, there's like string quartets, there's full bands, there's like harpists, whatever. And it's in like these really cool spaces. So like old churches or like
Yep.
just something really beautiful. And there's just like thousands of candles everywhere. And so there's no lights on. It's just candlelit and it's like just beautiful music. And I feel like that would be something that he would
I feel like
absolutely love.
you'd also really love to do like the symphony Lord of the Rings, like when they or like when they do the movies with like the
Yes.
full symphonies, like that's
Yeah.
I feel like you would love that as well.
That is so fun. Also, I have done one of those before and it
Mm.
is like the best. I did a
Okay.
Danny Elfman's, the music of the music of Danny Elfman, who did like Nightmare Before Christmas and all of those movies, and it was so fun. I loved it.
Amazing. Okay.
10 out of 10 would go back.
All right. For me, Yuki, um, I would love us to do some sort of food tour.
Yeah.
So it would be like maybe we go to some sort of food, like local food hall or like a food truck kind of
Mm-hmm.
setting where we just get like a bunch of things from like so many different places and we just like try it all. And then
Yeah.
we do some sort of ranking system where some of them are like completely obscure rankings. And then obviously the ones are like, okay, does this taste good? Yes or no. But it's like, was this crispy enough or like it's just like we create a little fun game for it.
Ugh, I love that. My next is Lando, and I feel like I kind of similar to what you said for Max. I feel like I would want to do just like a fun little day with Lando of like games, and so like maybe we'd go to like Putt Shack or like a
Mm,
mini golf kind of like ultimate extreme mini golf together, and then maybe like an axe throwing place or like one of those like places that are just like you're gonna throw axes, you're gonna throw knives, you're gonna like
yeah.
do random shit like that. I feel like he would love, and then we'll
Yeah.
throw in a mini golf because he loves to golf.
Yeah. I love that.
I feel like it'd be so fun.
All right, I have Oscar next. And this is a little bit of a callback to a joke from last season, but I think would love to do a helicopter tour.
In the rain.
um but ideally he's holding the umbrella for me. So this is redemption for Oscar to be able to show that he is a true gentleman
He's
this
a gentleman,
Valentine's
he's
Day.
grown. He learned from his past mistakes.
He did. And I know that he probably did. I know that he's probably ready for this chance, the
I think
second
he would
chance.
treat you right.
Yeah.
No. My next is Esteban, and Esteban is so funny to me. Like, I'm like, what? Who is Esteban? I know that
Who
he
is
loves who is
Esteban?
this man? I know that he loves like comic books and superheroes. He also like loves Disney World, so like an easy one would be like we're going to Disney World. But I don't really want to do that. I like really don't. He's like really hard. I feel like he's one where I'd just be like, I don't know, like dinner and a movie, but like maybe like
He did post the other
balcony.
day. He did post the other day that he was at a comedy show, a stand-up comedy
Did
show.
he?
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah, he
Okay,
posted on his
and
story. So I feel like he's just like classic kind of 25-year-old boy.
yeah, exactly. Um, you know what I would think would actually be really fun with him because I feel like he's like a very like expressive person is I feel like I would love to go with him to one of those sensory dinners
Mm.
where there's no lights and you like can't see or anything but like you eat the food and so it like heightens all your sense of taste and smell and everything.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would be really fun. I feel like I would just like really love to hear what he had to say like during it. Like I just feel like his reactions would be very funny.
Okay. Love that.
I've been really wanting to do one of those.
Okay.
I am afraid of the dark though, so it would be really facing a fear for me.
Yeah, but you're in a room with like so many other people.
Exactly. But I can't see them. So where are they? What are they doing? What if someone comes up behind me?
That's fair. I'm more scared of the dark when I'm alone. Like I'm not scared of the dark like with other people for me.
I am not when I know everyone else that's in the dark
Mm.
with me.
Okay.
Where this is harkening back to my movie theater
Yeah, okay.
fear, you know.
It's tracking. It's making sense. All right, next for me is Pierre. And for Pierre, I would love to do kind of an immersive art class. Like I'd love to
Ooh,
do ones where we're like throwing darts at balloons or it's just like very kind of like
yeah,
down and dirty with the art creation.
yeah. Getting down in the
Maybe
paint, one might
maybe
say.
it's like also create like our pottery class like we're just like
You're
we're doing
creating.
things. We're creating.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're creating.
Yeah.
Okay, so similar. So I have Lewis next, and I would love to go to one of those like immersive art exhibits. So like not an
Hmm.
art class, but more like an exhibit where you go and it's like very like cool and you like take photos of and with the art. Like have you ever heard of Meow Wolf?
No.
Okay, so Meow Wolf is really cool. There's one in Denver, I think. I wanted to go the last time I was there, but they're also kind of all over. But it's like you go in and it's just like all this like crazy art, and it's like a whole experience as you like walk through. It's I mean, how do you explain it? Almost like a haunted house where
Mm,
like it's like you walk through and like there's different like scenes kind of that you
yeah.
go in, but everything is like really crazy and like optical illusions and stuff. And I just feel like Lewis would love that because he's like so cultured, but
Yeah.
also like loves to like take photos and like be kind of in with whatever he's doing. So I feel like doing like an art exhibit would be really fun, or going to the zoo.
Mm,
I would love to take Lewis to the zoo.
okay. Love that.
I don't know if he'd like the zoo actually. I feel like he'd be like, these animals deserve to be free. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know if he would vibe with the enclosures,
No.
but so I'm gonna go art exhibit.
Okay, great. All right, next up for me is Joe. And I would love for us to just go on a trip, not even a trip, like a we go to a thrift store and we pick out the worst possible outfits for each other.
Yeah,
And we have to wear them around for the rest of the day. And we just like,
but you
bop
know,
around.
no matter how ugly the outfit is, he's gonna make
It's
it look
gonna look
so
good. I
good, and like
know.
you're gonna look bad, and it's just gonna like he's just gonna look so amazing.
I think that would be really fun.
That's so fun. Um, I know exactly what I want to do with Valtteri, and you know this too. He loves to bike and he loves to be outdoors, so we're going on one of those train biking things that I've always wanted to do, where it's like the train path through the woods,
Hmm.
but you're sitting and like you're pedaling,
Yeah.
like a pedal tour thing.
Yeah.
We're doing that, and it's going to be so beautiful and fun. And after we finish that, we'll actually be able to get on a train and have like food on train with like beautiful scenery.
Okay. Love
Honestly, a
that.
dream date for me. So
Valtteri, get after
Valtteri is
it.
pretty lucky because I just planned my dream date with him.
All right. Last but not least for me is Logan. We would be going to a professional sporting event.
Yeah.
And ideally having courtside tickets to this professional sporting event.
Wow.
That's what we're doing.
Okay, I love that. My last but not least is Alex Albon, and he's very fun to me. Like, I feel like there's like nothing that we could do that wouldn't be fun. Um, but I think I would really love to go to a cat cafe with him.
I love
I
that.
feel like that would just be like a really fun date, and we'd just like, or like go to a
Volunteer at an animal
yeah,
shelter.
that was gonna say, or like go to the animal shelter where you can like play with the puppies all day. Like, I just feel like doing something with animals with him would be so fun.
Yeah, I love
Like
that.
goat yoga. Or
Mm,
like anything that we can do where there's animals around is what
yeah.
I want to do with Alex.
Yeah. Okay, love that. Or you maybe take Alex to the zoo, but you do one of the like feeding the elephants kind of tour.
Oh,
Or
yeah. Well, he's been to Thailand. He's
mm.
Thai. He would like be like, this is literally trash compared to my elephant feeding experience in Thailand.
Maybe, yeah, that's true. Well, guess what? All of these dates are perfect, and
I wish we were going on them.
if either of our significant others happen to listen to this and want any inspiration on what dates to take us on, you have a
You have them.
plethora. You have a plethora of
We
ideas.
each just planned 10 of our
10.
dream dates. So you should have
The
plenty of
floor is yours.
fodder to work with. Yeah, ball is in your court now.
All right,
Um
time for us to actually talk about the real partners, the people they're actually really going on, the people
the
they're
people
actually
that
really going
hopefully
on dates.
they're going on those exact dates with. So prior to the season starting, we want to walk through the WAGs. We want to talk about who they are, who they're with, and who you need to know about before we head
Mhm.
into this season. Um, we'll kind of dive into any if we haven't before. So, like, if they're
Yeah.
relatively new to the WAGs grid, as we call it, we'll give you a little deep dive into them. Not that deep. It's a surface level dive.
Surface level.
We're just gonna skim the top. We're doing, instead of diving, we're snorkeling. It's just a little snorkel on these girls. So, starting with Mercedes, Carmen,
Yep.
obviously, we know her. We love her. But we're also going to count Mick as a driver. And so we're going to talk about Layla. And we talked about her a little earlier in the New York Fashion Week segment. But Layla is from Denmark, which is why she said Scandinavian style is for us.
Hmm.
She was a finalist in the 2019 Miss Universe competition. Unsurprising, she's stunning. And before her relationship with Mick, there were rumors that Lando was displaying fan behavior for her and they'd met up a few times. So it's a classic Lando thing to like have been talking to or like rumored to be with someone who becomes a girlfriend of another driver on the grid.
Lando is good luck Chuck. Like he is there before they meet their actual F1
Yeah.
driver boyfriend. Yeah.
So good for Lando. He has fun and then they find the one. On Red Bull, no changes. Kelly Piquet with Max and Carola with Checo. They have 100 kids together, so she's not going anywhere.
No.
Ferrari, again,
Despite what Checo may do to her, she's not going
despite
anywhere.
it all, she's here. She's bought in. On Ferrari, again, no changes. Alex is still dating Charles, and Rebecca is still dating Carlos. So
Hmm.
both of those were new additions in the 2023 season.
Rebecca
Um,
did just cut herself a bob, though. I don't know if you saw.
I
She's in her bob
didn't
era. So
love
you
for
and you
her.
and Rebecca, twins.
I know. I gotta go get a haircut. Maybe I'll do that today. What if I just schedule a haircut for today?
Could be fun.
I should. I might. I need some like. I need some more like angles and layers. It's getting very
Hmm.
like all the same length. And it's like
Mm.
heavy. Um. Anyways, V carb. We've just got Heidi. Heidi for Danny. It's
Yuki
funny because
allegedly does have a girlfriend, but we don't
we know nothing
know.
about
We know
her.
nothing about her.
Yuki, king of secrecy. I hope
I
they're
love
going to a
that for
food
him.
hall tonight.
Yeah, I hope they're having fun.
I hope they're going to a food hall and snacking on some foods. Um, Alpine, we do have a new addition, Flavie Barla. Flavie,
Hmm.
we've talked about her a bit in the past because she kind of came in at the tail end of the 2023 season. So she's dating Esteban Ocon, and then we have Kika, who we know is dating Pierre. We love Kika, but Flavie,
Flavy Flav,
Flavie Flav, just turned 21, so another child
Bay Bay.
child bride on the grid. She is studying currently to be an oncology surgeon. So like we have no choice but to stand. Like that's an incredible. She's really gonna do something. She's gonna be doing something more important than we are. That's
Yep, that's
for
for
sure.
sure.
So, you know how we always say like we're not curing cancer or anything. Well, she actually will be.
She will
So
be.
good for her. She was Miss Côte d'Azur in 2023 and the fifth runner up for Miss France. So she's just like a Parisian princess. She's she's as French as they come.
Yeah.
She's like the ultimate French girl.
Yep.
So perfect for Esteban. They have matching bracelets. Tell me
I
more.
just put this in because I thought it was really cute because that's how people decided, like, figured out that they were dating because they both had little matching bracelets. And I was like, just like a fun little
Like a cutie
cute
little thing.
little thing for them to have.
It's like me and Nick
Yeah,
and Carly
exactly.
have matching bracelets.
Exactly. And then one more fun fact about her is that her dad owns a restaurant and her mom is a hairdresser. Again, like we said, skimming the surface, like I was deep in kind of French newspaper articles translating, Google translating a
Screaming.
lot of these things, and I couldn't find too much about her. I
Yeah.
tried to go deep on this and like there just wasn't that much. So that's what we know about her right now. I'm
So
hoping that
shout
we
out
get
Flavie if you want to come on the podcast and give us a deep dive into yourself. We'd be happy to chat.
would love to learn a little bit more about what she's got going on and her
But
journey as in med school.
I do kind of love that like her dad owns a restaurant, her mom's a hairdresser, like she just kind of like has a normal kind of home life.
Yeah.
Um and I think that's like very fitting for Esteban because like we know his parents really gave up a lot to help
Mhm.
support him and like get him to this like elite status in motorsport. So I feel like it's kind of cool for both of them to be like kind of self-made and like very
Yeah.
independent and like really working for what they want. So like
Yeah.
love that. I feel like they have a lot in common. So I'm not surprised that they're together. Very cute. Aston Martin, we I mean, who knows who Fernando's dating these days because he's always dating someone new. And it's always a journalist in the F1 paddock.
Or
So
it's Taylor
TBD,
Swift.
or it's
Who's
Taylor
to say?
Swift. Who's to say? So right now we only have one confirmed WAG for Aston Martin, and that's Mary Lou, who is dating Lance. And she was on a
Like Big
Love
Brother
Island
esque, yeah.
reality-ish show in Canada. But she's Canadian also, so he's just, got to keep it Canadian through and through. Williams, we right now only have Lily. Logan, as of now, from what we know, does not have a significant other. And based on what we heard from him at the event last week, he had no time for women.
He doesn't have time.
He was
He's got no time.
training day and night. So, ladies, don't even try.
Stay out of
He's
those DMs.
career focused right now.
Stay out of there.
Stay out of there. Haas, we will have the same wags for probably ever because it's the
Hopefully.
wives and mothers of their children, Louise and Egley. Egle, we never know.
Maybe one
It'll
day we'll
be
get it.
maybe one day someone will tell us. So if you're sitting there at home listening to this, screaming that you know how to pronounce this, please DM us and tell us because we don't, and I would love to know how to properly pronounce her name. Steak, we have Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
Valtteri is longtime girlfriend and business partner.
Mm-hmm.
So mixing business and pleasure apparently works out for them. Love to hear it. And then with McLaren, we right now only have Lily Zanemer dating Oscar. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully he will be carrying an umbrella for her for Valentine's
Today.
Day this year.
And that's the tea on the wags this year.
It's a
And
T. Although there's one
that's
other G maybe that I would like to talk about. It's really not she's not a wag, but she belongs in the girls' room. And that's Miss Chloe Stroll.
mm,
Chloe Stroll, our girl, friend of the pod, actually,
famously
has been on the podcast before. Friend of us too. She was on the Kelly Clarkson show, and I just
singing
want
her
to say
new song.
congratulations.
I know, huge for her. So, what a wonderful little thing she did.
She's really on the up and up, and
She
so
is.
I'm excited to see the recognition that she's getting and to hear more about what she is
It'll be
up
game
to.
over though if Kelly decides to cover one of her songs because you know that Kelly crushes every single song she decides to cover. So,
Yeah,
like a Kelly Clarkson cover,
huge,
better than any original song ever created.
ever, ever. So let's hope she doesn't, because we
I
want
would love a Kelly Clarkson cover of Surrender. I'm not even gonna lie.
to. Don't tempt me with a good time. Don't tempt me with a good time.
All right. And you know what? We didn't get to this last week, but we are going to do a manifest minute this week.
We're back. We're back. I
We're
know it's been a
so
while.
we're so back, baby. Let me pull her up.
Yeah, lead me through this,
I
Nicole.
will.
Lead the gals through a manifest. First one in a while.
So this is coming from Ray. Ray. You guys, if you have names, please put pronunciation
If
cues.
you happen to have a name,
If you have a name that could be pronounced maybe several ways, just looking at it, helpful for us if you put kind of like
you guys
dictionary
know that we
pronunciations.
straight up do not know how to pronounce
We don't know how to
anything.
pronounce anyone's names. So, Ray,
Fantasy or real life. We have no idea how to pronounce anything. So please give us a hint.
It's Raey.
I think that's right.
Ray. Okay.
I would say
So, Ray works in the film industry in Toronto, and it's been a really tough year for her due to lack of work because of the strikes. Thankfully, they're over now, but financially and mentally, she's been a wreck. And so she has an ex who is the one who got her into Formula One, but thanks to the TG1F community, she still has people to talk about with F1 too. Amen. Hear that.
amen.
And so the manifest minute that she has is she's an indie filmmaker and she's recently completed her latest short film called Clouded. And she's hoping to seek the power of the TG1F community to manifest a big festival premiere for it. Berlinale 2024 is the dream, and the 2024 season starts this Friday, February 15th, which is
Ooh.
also her 30th birthday. And it
Oh
would be the
my gosh.
best gift ever. So she's She says she's like Haas in terms of being a small little Canadian film with big ambitions, but not the budget to match. So she could use all the cosmic help she can get. She says, big thanks in
Love.
advance should you choose this manifest minute, sending positive vibes. And she says, P.S. My ex says I'm fucked in the head for saying I don't love anything more than my films, but my films have never found my pain in imposition. Should this film go to a big film festival, it will also be an excellent fuck you, but we don't have to focus on that. Just a fun little tidbit I wanted to throw in. Well,
We'll
Ray,
be focusing on
we'll
that.
be focusing on that
That is
because
an excellent fuck you to that man.
we love a redemption arc over here, obviously.
And you want to know who would really understand her? Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton for
Lewis
sure.
Hamilton, famously, who has said that no woman will ever be as important to him as his car, as his career.
As his
He
career,
would understand.
he gets it. So I would like to welcome everyone who's listening in our first 2024 manifest of the year to close your eyes, take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and let's imagine Ray walking down a red carpet for her film release. She is showcasing her hard work to everyone at this film festival. She's worked so hard. She has had to go through, ups and downs to get to this point, but she's so proud of her work and she's so proud of the things that she had to give up in order to be here. And she wants to share this labor of love with the rest of the world. So she's just getting Ray over here, snap, 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 snap. She's being interviewed. She's being asked about, what this means to her, how much joy she has for this project. And Ray's face is just beaming from ear to ear. She couldn't be more proud of the work that she did this year. And it's finally paying off. So let's all think about, just this energy of being really proud of something that you've worked really hard on and having it get the recognition that you had hoped for. Um, and just put that energy into this manifest. So let's take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and let's really seal that intention. That's put good vibes towards Ray's 30th birthday tomorrow, towards this film festival. And if you've ever had a moment where you've had to make decisions, you've had to pick something over something else in order to make your dreams become a reality, this is one of those manifest moments for you where you know how that feels and
Yeah.
you want to see that be successful. So go into this week and really, I would say, just give someone the kudos that they deserve. Maybe
Yeah.
it's something small, but you've noticed that they've been working really hard on something. Just notice that about
Yeah.
something that they've been working on, or even for yourself if you've been working really hard to get something done and been working on a project, whether it's just a hobby that you're working on, or maybe you're writing a book or working on a big project that you're doing in your free time. Like, just notice how hard you've been working on that, and
Yeah.
give yourself a little pat on the back because it is not easy.
Agreed. I love that. I'm so excited for Ray. I hope that happens. And the entire time we were doing that, I was just picturing the episode of Entourage when they go to Sundance and they're premiering their movie there. And first of all, they get a lot of funding offers there. So let's go. Let's hope for that for Ray. So I'm honestly envisioning Sundance for this.
Yeah,
And I think that would be huge.
it's huge. It's going to be huge for her. I know that to be true. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of this chaotic podcast. But it's something we've been working on for a long time. So we're really
It
happy that
is.
you're here.
It is. Yeah. And we are so glad and so proud of ourselves.
Little
Another
pat on the back.
season
Another
kicking off.
season in getting ready to gear up. But you know what? Until next time, guys,
We'll see you on the internet.
we'll see you on the internet.
Bye.
Bye.